Let's get down to business.
Like I say this to my clients all the time, like the most like optimal program means jack shit if you don't enjoy it or don't stick to it. So like I think enjoyment still has to be up there with one of the main priorities.
If it fits your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got to, you know, if you're trying to do things that are abrasive to the lifestyle you want to live, that therefore are not enjoyable to you, you're not going to be consistent with them for long enough to get the results that you want to get.
That's it. It comes down to everything, though, even with diet. If you give someone a
100%.
shit diet that's chicken and broccoli, they're not going to stick to it for very long. Whereas if you give a diet that someone enjoys, or more food, obviously to an extent, a diet they enjoy, they're much going to stick out to it for a longer period of time. Whether if you give them a workout and they absolutely hate it. I mean, if you give someone battle ropes every single day and they fucking hate battle ropes, or give someone burpees and they hate burpees, they're not going to keep on.
They stick to it.
And especially you, even as a trainer, if you've got clients that are adamant that they hate burpees, and every day you come in, you smash them with burpees, you're going to lose a client pretty quickly after a while. So
yeah, I think particularly with nutrition, that's important in terms of enjoyment. Like obviously, a lot of people have different opinions on like flexible dieting, for example. But for me, like the demographic that I work with mostly, with the exception of like the athletes and stuff that I might work with, even with them, like to varying degrees, they're still following like flexible dieting. But for the general population or whatever, I'm just like, what is the point of sticking to this meal plan that you hate, that you in your mind are going like, I've only got 6 weeks left until I can finish this shit. Yeah. Or me saying to you, all right, follow these macros roughly, try and fit in the stuff that you enjoy. Don't cut out the things that you enjoy most. And over the span of the next 12 months, you're going to see far greater results. And the same with training, like you just said, like if you hate burpees, why do it? Or even things like, you know, squats to a degree. Like if you're not a power lifter and you have to squat, if you're just someone that goes into the gym and wants to see results and you hate squatting, then don't squat. There's so many other exercises that you could be doing that are going to stimulate the muscles and expend energy that you can do that you do enjoy. That'll ultimately still get you to the same end result that you want to be at.
Set your clients up. They're doing their checklist every morning, every night. They've got the different ways of measuring in place. So they're starting to see progress. They're consistent. They can see the payoff with the consistency. And then something happens in their life and it just completely derails them.
Yeah.
How do you deal with getting your clients through that?
And getting them back on track.
Getting them back on track, exactly. Yeah.
And this is kind of personal preference for everyone, but I'm a massive fan of meditation. So we spoke about this yesterday as well. Like I couldn't recommend it anymore to everyone really, but I try and explain that to a lot of my clients that it's helped me, because there's been stuff that I've gone through or whatever where it's thrown me off. And just that daily meditation helps bring it back, but not everyone obviously wants to do that. So I'll try and explain a lot that, you know, like a good or great month is far better than a perfect week. So you'll have people that have had like 5 or 6 days in a row where they've just been spot on, and then they'll have gone out and they've had like a couple of beers or something like that, and then it's just completely thrown them off. And that's small scale. It could be something bigger, like something happening in the family or whatever it may be, and just throws people off straight away. But if I can try and bring it back as quickly as possible and just get them to realize that in the grand scheme of things, like one day or even a week is not going to make a huge difference if you can bring it back. It's when it turns into a few weeks, a month, a few months where that's when it starts to derail. So I'll use the example of like overeating or binge eating. That's a big one. Most people the next day will then go drastically, like make drastic changes in terms to try and bring it back. So they're in their head, they're going, you know, like I've stuffed up here, everything's ruined. So I'm going to do a heap of cardio, train a heap, and just completely cut my calories. So then a few days later, same thing happens. Never-ending cycles. So I got this little theory that I like to use with my clients called the goldfish mentality. So once they've had a bad day, I think it's important to actually recognize it. And I know I'm not too sure like if this is really answering your question, because I know you're probably talking more so about something that's out of people's control.
No, this is exactly answering my question. Keep going.
Cool, yeah. So I think it's important to acknowledge it, because you can't just go, all right, goldfish mentality every Saturday when I decide to go out with the boys and get blind. But it's like, all right, this happened yesterday, I overate, or what was the reason for it? let's move on now. The next day, back to normal. Like there's no making up for it at all. Like I'm really big on that. I don't think that regardless of whether you go 500 calories over your intake or whether you go 5,000 calories over, if you're prepping for a show, it's a different story.
Of course, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
For the majority of people, I think the next day, back to your normal macros or meal plan or whatever nutritional approach you want to follow. Yeah. If you're meant to train, you train. If you feel like going for a walk or doing a bit of extra light cardio, feel free, but don't kind of bash yourself up for it and try and go to the opposite extreme because it's just never ending over and over and over again. Yeah. So as long as you acknowledge it and it doesn't happen over and over again, because it just comes down to creating that healthy relationship with food. The other thing that has just like literally changed everything for me is actually just not being afraid of someone saying no. Like when people ask me about training like higher profile people or whatever, especially early on, a lot of those opportunities, and the same thing with some of the guests I've had on the podcast, has just been me reaching out to people with no fear of them saying no. Because someone said this to me not long ago, is like the fear that a lot of people have about, you know, failure, whether it be someone saying no or something not happening or them losing something, has already happened if you haven't asked. Yeah. So if I wanted to do a podcast, like even when I reached out to you, when we did the podcast a couple of years ago, like if I wanted to do that podcast with you and I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to ask because what if he says no? Yeah. Then it's still the same result. That's already a reality because we still haven't done it. Yeah. So a lot of there's been a few opportunities that have come about which have pretty much drastically changed the path of what my kind of life looks like at the moment because I've just reached out to people.
If you want to convert somebody, if you want to turn somebody from a non-customer into a customer, the first thing that you need is their attention, right? If you don't have their attention and they don't know who you are, they don't know who your business are, they don't know what you do, you're never, ever going to be able to convert them. Impossible. So then the question becomes, okay, well, how do I get someone's attention? You add value to them somehow. Yeah. Right, you produce something that's valuable to them, because attention is the most valuable asset we have. When we're giving someone our attention, we're giving them our time. Right? And time is the most valuable, more valuable than money. You can't get more of it. Yeah. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's the most valuable asset we have. Yeah. The only way you're going to get somebody to give up their time and therefore their attention to you is to produce something equally as valuable. Right? And I think a lot of people just miss that. So they'll put up a post to get people's attention. Like, I got 3 spots left in my fucking book this week. That's not adding, it might grab people's attention, but it's not adding value. Whereas you're doing your Instagram and your Instagram stories and your podcast, and you're just continually adding as much value as you can to get people to give up their time, to get people to give up their attention. And then when you go from the hardcore business line of trying to convert someone into a customer, it's fucking easy. Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.